Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be reacting to
How moving to Italy could cut your taxes in half. Italy's fight against brain drain.
August 4th, 2025. Please keep in mind laws, guidelines, and processes may change over time.
This is the Italian Citizenship Podcast hosted by Marco Permunian and Rafael Di Furia.
Hello there, and welcome back to another episode of the Italian Citizenship Podcast presented by ItaliancitizenshipAssistance.com. Of course, we are back at it again with Italian attorney Marco Permunian, and I am Rafael Di Furia. And in this episode, we wanted to talk about a repatriation scheme that Italy has for Italian citizens living abroad, both for those who were born in Italy as well as those Italian citizens who were born abroad. But just to jump straight into this topic, Marco, can you tell us about what it is that the Italian government is offering to those Italian citizens who are looking to move to Italy?
The Italian government introduced a special tax regime to incentivize Italian citizens who chose to live abroad to repatriate. And even if the intention
I'm confused. Why he has two mics? That's not.
I thought he needs to have an earpiece, no?
Oh, I guess it just looks like also he has a mic there. I guess.
of the government was to, again, incentivize the return to Italy of Italian citizens who left Italy. This
We heard
program
about
can
this.
also be used by dual citizens, meaning individuals who become Italian citizens while residing abroad, meaning individuals who never resided in Italy before. This special regime consists of a 50% reduction of the amount of taxes that otherwise would be due in a normal situation, meaning that in order to incentivize the return of individuals who meet certain conditions, the Italian government offers a 50% decrease in the taxation that otherwise would be due by Italian residents. And the conditions are that you either must have a university degree or you must be a highly qualified worker. It doesn't matter if you are an employee or a self-employed person or a freelancer or a digital nomad, as long as you carry out your work activity in Italy, meaning that you can't be a freelancer who lives abroad. In fact, one more important condition that needs to be met is that you spend at least half a year in Italy, meaning at least 183 days, which is what qualifies you as an Italian tax resident from a general standpoint. And finally, you must have spent at least 3
I mean, that's interesting, but I think if you like American and you get Italian citizenship and you do this, you still have to pay the American tax. So I don't know if that's exactly what benefits you. Like because they have that tax treaty that somehow they divvy up the tax, but I'm not sure if that helps. Because you don't get double tax. There's no double taxation, but you still, like, as an American citizen, you would have to pay to American IRS, and then American IRS would give it to Italy, whatever you are. I think that's how it works. So I don't know if, like, at least from American perspective, I don't know if that exactly would help you. Now, other countries like Brazil or Argentina, for those countries might be different laws, but yeah.
fiscal years outside of Italy prior to relocating to Italy. If you meet these conditions, you will be able to use this special tax regime for a maximum of 5 years. However, you will lose this benefit if you leave Italy before 4 years have passed, and you might be requested to give back the amount of money that you received
Wow.
as a tax credit in that situation.
That's
Meaning, if you leave Italy
that's crazy. So you're kind of tied down now too.
That means they expect a commitment.
I mean, I get it, but to pay back?
prior
Oh,
to having spent 4
I think
full
they have
years
an
in
issue with
Italy.
people
In order
like,
to qualify for this
the
program,
loopholes, the fraud. It seems like a lot of corruption going on and trying to
I
tackle
mean,
it.
but to tackle it by making the country more appealing to live, not by, I don't know.
it is not necessary to have been registered with the IRE while residing abroad, even if that helps, because it helps prove that you were a foreign resident and not an Italian resident. And of course, among the documents that are required are the foreign tax returns to prove that you spent time abroad and that now you're relocating to Italy, meaning that you will become an Italian taxpayer. To prove your intention to live in Italy for at least 4 years, you need to either get a rental agreement for 4 years or you need to purchase a property in Italy. With that being said, there are situations where the tax reduction is even higher, meaning that if you have minor children, you can qualify for a 60% tax exemption, meaning that you only pay the 40% of the normal tax that you would be required to pay in a normal situation. And if you're a university professor, the tax reduction goes up to 90%, meaning that you only pay a 10% tax on your salary. And
Yeah, for the professors, that's a really good deal. If you're a professor, I mean, 10%. So if you were supposed to pay 10,000, you only pay 1K. That's a phenomenal deal for.
I don't know how often this scenario occurs though.
I mean, I don't know how often it occurs, but I'm sure it will occur more often now. Because as a professor, especially here in the States, you see what they're doing. They're kind of pushing away all the researchers. If they go to Italy, that's a great deal for like research people.
And of course,
Wow.
even if this is not highly advertised in the media, this is a great opportunity for Italian citizens who chose to reside abroad and those who became dual citizens while residing abroad, because it translates in more money in your pocket, meaning that the tax reduction is real, it's immediate. And whether you are a self-employed person or an employee, you at the end of the year will have more money in your pocket, because either you will be requested to pay less taxes when you file your tax returns, or your employer will be able to give you more money because they pay less taxes for your employment. And with all of that said, it's important to specify that in order to qualify for this special tax regime, your annual income must not exceed 600,000 euros.
Well, Marco, that's quite something and quite the tax
No, yeah,
scheme that is in
600,000 is a lot of money. That's not. Most of the people would apply to this, I think.
place now for those who will be making their way back to the country. And I'm just curious because I know there are various tax schemes that exist in Italy. Are there any others that it might be worthwhile looking at for a person that is looking to make their way back into the country?
There are situations where if your income does not exceed a certain threshold, it may make sense to look into alternatives. And the regime forfettario is one of those, where if your income does not exceed a certain amount, you may be able to have the choice between the two programs, because the regime forfettario is also very interesting. And for those who are interested in learning more about the regime forfettario, we have released episodes in the past where we talk about different tax regimes that are in place in Italy. But just to give more context, the regime forfettario is available to freelancers and those who operate their own businesses, so not employees. And it's a way to pay as little as the 5% on a portion of your total income.
Well, Marco, thank you so much for sharing about that. And just another quick question for
I
you.
think like the idea of Italy trying to get more people to come, like not just more people, but people either educated or people with
Yeah, I think this
with
is
money.
necessary.
I think this is good. It's just to me the fact that they're basically forcing you to kind of 4 years or you have to take it back kind of shows you that you're seeing the country through rose-colored glasses a little bit. Because if they have to include that in the law, that means you get there and you want to get the fuck out.
Yeah.
That's what it implies to me. Because I feel like if that was not the case, they wouldn't even put that. Because
They would expect you to
they
fall in
would
love.
expect you to fall in love. Basically, what we see on YouTube: fall in love, best country in the world, and stay there forever. But clearly, that's not the case. Because if they put that in the law, that means there are a lot of people coming thinking,
They
"Oh,
turn
it's good, it's
around
good,"
and
and they're like, "God
decide.
damn, I gotta dip."
Or they cannot find opportunities once they arrive.
Yeah.
there.
So that's kind of scary a little bit to me.
Because we have discussed about this repatriation regime and then also now the forfettario regime, these are all for individuals who are still working. But what options exist for those who may be retired or retiring to Italy?
Italy offers a 7% flat tax regime to retirees that want to move to Italy, though this only works if you move to certain areas of Italy. And we covered all of the details of this special tax program in episode 39 of the Italian Real Estate podcast.
Thank you, Marco. And for someone who might be interested in moving back to Italy or moving to Italy for the first time and taking advantage of one of these tax regimes, how would they actually have to go about doing that? Because to be able to be residing in Italy, I know there are some steps involved. So could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Since we're talking about Italian citizens or dual citizens, there aren't really any major steps that need to be taken in order to relocate back to Italy or relocate to Italy for the first time. In fact, being an Italian or dual citizen gives you the freedom to relocate back to Italy at any point in your life without, again, taking any major steps. Of course, there are steps that you need to take if you want to participate in this program to show that you want to relocate to Italy for a certain period of time. You need to get a rental agreement for the duration of 4 years or purchase a property, and show that your intention is to live in Italy for at least half a year in over a 40 years period. So there are steps that you need to take in order to show
Over a 40
that you
years
want to participate
period.
No, I
Oh,
think
for
4
4
years
years
period.
period.
I think he misspoke. I think it's
Mm.
4 years period.
in this program. But regarding the actual relocation into the country, they didn't really think anything that you need to do, as opposed to foreign citizens who, for example, would need to get a visa prior to relocating to the country long term. As an Italian citizen or dual citizen, you have the freedom to relocate whenever you like. But of course, as I mentioned earlier in the episode, once you relocate to Italy, it's necessary to register as a resident from a formal standpoint to officially become a tax resident, because we are talking about individuals who move to Italy with the purpose of living in Italy, and therefore they need to be officially recognized as taxpayers in Italy, even if, of course, the goal here is to offer a major tax reduction to those who decide to relocate back to Italy or to relocate to Italy for the first time.
Well, Marco, I think this is going to be a great place to round out this episode. So thank you so much for making yourself available.
All right, interesting.
I don't know. All this process
Mhm.
doesn't make it appealing for
They
me.
they have to make something though. They have to, because it seems like a lot of people. You watch the videos, people that get degrees, they're leaving because there's just not much opportunity, like in terms of money to make. So I think they have to do something to get some of those brain drain back. But I mean, it's a good incentive, right? They thinking of the right ideas to do, but I don't think that's where you start though. I think
Thank
you
you,
start
Vince.
you start by fixing what's wrong within the country, not by getting people to come and then them being like, God damn, I
You have
can't
to
leave.
come
I'm
here,
in
you
the
have to stay
prison.
here
Yeah.
for 4 years.
I think the way to approach this is to
That
first
sounds
fix.
fishy.
Yeah, you first got to fix the issues internally, and then if you still need, if you're still facing the issue, then you can get people to come. But anyway, I'm part of this scheme, and it has worked amazingly for me. I have ended up paying less tax in a year that I did 1 month in the UK. Oh wow. My commercialista also says there's a possibility to extend it another 5 years within when the first 5 years are up. Okay. I love this, but why the heck do they limit generations? It would double mine. I would have to pay US taxes and Italian taxes. And I wouldn't be working as I'm retired. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like when it comes to US taxes, I don't know, because there is already a treaty that exists. I don't know if that would affect Americans.
They don't want Americans. They want
I
us
don't
right
know,
now.
man. At this point, it seems like they just want whoever
Mm,
want to come.
Okay. Guys, of course, let us know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Join the Discord. And as always, share as much kindness as possible.